Today's episode is brought to you by Real Estate Radio Experts. I know you guys want those calls. You want your phone to go bring bring. You say hello, and the person goes, "Hey, Toby, I want you to come over and list my house." You want those kind of calls? You're only going to get those with radio. That's it. Don't believe me? Listen to my past guests. Hey, if you want to level up, go check out realestateradioexperts.com. Fill out the getting started sheet and let's chat. Hey, real quick. February 13th through the 16th, I'm in New Orleans, and I'm hanging out at the Keller Williams Family Reunion event. I know there's a ton of you guys listening that are also going. I'm trying to schedule a meetup. I want to get together with you guys. I'm going to invite, ideally I want to throw a hosted party for my past guests. I've had a lot of top KW folks and you guys. Get everybody together. So send me an email and let me know if you're going, and let me get you on the list. All right. Hey, let's talk about today's guest. Now, I got to tell you, I did this one a while back. That's all right. It's all good stuff. But I re-listened to it, kind of doing the editing. We had some tech issues. Jeez, our site went down last week, and now it's some tech issues this week. Hopefully, we're going to get all this squared away. We got some new equipment for 2016 for the studio, and it's giving us some fits. But I had a lot of fun with today's guest, and I think once you listen to it, I think you're going to like it. I think this is one of the ones where you guys are, I'm going to get a lot of feedback going, hey, get that guy back on. And I'm happy to do so. But look, here's what we talk about. He kind of opens up the episode. He's a smart guy. He's not your normal realtor, and once you listen, you're going to understand why. But he shares why he thinks real estate is the best game ever invented. And I got to tell you, this whole gamification, it seems to me from talking to the guy, kind of permeates everything he does. He kind of treats everything like a game. He treats lead generation like a game. He treats getting Twitter followers like a game. The guy's got 15,000 followers. I only have like 7,000. And if you're not following me, why not? Come on, guys. We'll talk. I'll give you my Twitter handle in a second. We kind of start the episode on a note. I got to tell you, I want to warn you. On a negative way. And I know that, a lot of you guys listening out there, are at different points of the business cycle. Some of you are starting out. Some of you have been doing it, but you're doing it part-time. And I know that argument. I know everybody's like, hey, I'm going to do it part-time. As soon as I can match my full-time career, income, I'll go full-time. Whether that's a mistake or not, he shares what he feels about part-time agents. And he feels that, part-time agents and the low barrier to entry in real estate hurts the industry as a whole. And I don't know what you feel about it, but there is people. Everybody comes on my show. These guys are, people you listen to are making $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $4 million, $5 million a year in real estate. However, there is no prestige in being a real estate agent. I just met with some newly minted agents over the weekend, and they're like, well, I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm like, well, why are you doing this? So anyhow, we started out with that. Don't let that throw you off. We get to some really good stuff. He talks about why you should, out of the gate, build your business like a business, and why you need to treat all your clients, act as an advisor and not a salesperson. He also believes in just action, taking action, failing forward, staying on track, and just focusing on those daily dollar productive activities. All right. Welcome to Super Agents Live. This is the one place where you can come and hear the most successful people in real estate. You'll hear how these super agents built their businesses, how they stay productive, and how they stay motivated. Who am I? My name's Toby Salgado, and I made my first $1 million in real estate. Yeah. And I'm your host for the next 30 minutes while we talk to yet another amazing real estate entrepreneur. Stay tuned. Let's go! Yeah! Just a couple quick reminders here. One, if you haven't checked it out, check out our newest product. It's called School of Profits. It's a product where, it's a coaching product, but you're going to be able to get on these calls with me, with my guest live. Ask your questions, and hopefully, I want 2016 to be the best year for all of us. My Twitter handle, I talked about it earlier. Twitter handle is @SuperAgentsLive. Hashtag for the show is Unpack That Idea. Would love to meet you out in Twitterville. And look, if you haven't, you're not going to want to miss future episodes like this. So if you're not on my mailing list, go hop on it. Just go to superagentslive.com, sign up, subscribe, get my free ebook. And if you are so inclined, leave us a review. I'd love that. All right. Hey, let's get to it. Today on the show, really excited to talk to today's guest. Now, as you guys know, we're taking a regional focus. Today's guest is in Everett, Washington. Look, so he's got a team of 11. 4 of them are admin, 7 sales. Now, his sales team is not as focused as most people that come on the show. His people are all around people. They're generalists, so they do both buyers and sellers. He does not have them categorized as buyer only and sales only. So we'll talk about that a little bit. His transactions for last year, he did 178 deals. The year before that, 202. The year before that, 219. So we're going to talk a little bit about what's happening and why he's decreasing the last 3 years. Average sale, 226 for about $40 million. I'm thrilled to welcome Anton Stetner. Anton, thanks for taking the time out, man.
Not a problem. Glad to be here.
So look, I've given the audience just a sort of a nuts and bolts overview of what you're doing. But before we get to what's working and how how and why you've structured your team and company the way you have, take a minute, man. Tell us about yourself. I always want to get to know the man behind the machine.
Perfect. I've been in real estate since I got in late 2003. Got in kind of backwards, like a lot of other people. I was in biotech sales. The company I was working for got bought. My wife says, "Hey, get your license, and I can give you a waterfront listing." She was going to work for a builder at the time.
Wow.
And so I said, I'll get into real estate because I want to learn to invest. That's one of my big passions about real estate. And got my license. 2 weeks into the business, I made $18,000 by double popping that waterfront listing. And I said, wow, last year I made 54. 2 weeks, 18. I'm never going back.
Yeah, right. And biotech, it's like biotech and pharmaceutical sales. I mean, it's just brutal. You know what I mean? It's just
it is brutal.
house.
That's my background. I went to college, got a degree in biochemistry, did research in that. And what I knew, though, is I knew that wasn't my calling. I just didn't know what my other calling was until I kind of got into real estate backwards, and I was like, holy cow, this is the best game ever invented.
No kidding. Yeah. And it's so funny. Guys like you, you're obviously biochemistry. You're a super, super smart guy. And I think, we have these kind of bottom feeder part-time agents out there that in a lot of ways give the industry a bad name. I mean, you know what I mean? And, they're starving for a deal, and, I would, and look, that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this show, Anton. I would love to see this industry pick up its game a little bit and have people realize that it's a career profession that it is. So
you are so preaching right to my heart, so much so that every year, and I kid you not, I write letters to Department of Licensing, to all of our state representatives, and basically ask them to increase the criteria by which to get into real estate so we can have a higher level of professionalism involved in our industry.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, look, again, I don't want to go down this hole, but, if you look at, it's stupid to become a barber, to cut somebody's hair. It's something like 400 or 600 hours that you need to train to, the person who does your nails. I don't know what they're called. Those people, they have to do like 800 hours of training. And, you get into real estate selling millions of dollars of property, and where you're kind of acting as an attorney, you're acting as a, financial planner, and, you can get a license in 6 weeks. I mean, it's just, I don't get it.
Exactly.
So
exactly, and one of the things that that I would love to see our industry do is basically to have college education required and apprenticeship required. So, for instance, if you were to get in the business, you would have to apprenticeship with someone who is doing a certain level of production for at least a year.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of like what happens, and this is so true just for teams in general, is we bring on a new team member, whether or not they've been in real estate or they're new to the game. we have to teach them how to play at our level and how to play the way we play. And that's a process. And it's very interesting, even for the experienced agents that come and work with us, how much they don't know.
Yeah. I agree.
So it takes people 90 days to 6 months to really kind of get up to speed, to be ready to, to rock and roll, to consistently be involved in the process and to generate a very consistent level of business.
Yeah, unless you listen to my show, in which case you're out of the gate running. So,
True.
All right, so let's get to it. So, again, you're a bright guy, biochemistry. Biochemists. It typically, it's interesting that your personality, that you know what I mean. Like you're not a straight nerd, right?
That was the thing. I looked around and I was like, wait a second, why am I the only extrovert in the room?
Right. But again, you can be an extrovert. You can know how to sell and not be afraid to sell. But that doesn't mean you know how to run a business. So take me. Let's go back, right? So your wife gave you a listing. That's great. You luckily had enough sense that you figured out how to do it. Tell me when you started to really build your business like a business.
Yeah, I love it. So the first year, actually, I literally just worked part-time. Also worked for my father-in-law that owns a restaurant, because I wasn't sure that I wanted to be into real estate. My whole intention was to go back into biotech or pharmaceutical sales. That first year, I sold 13 homes, and I was working for a local company that's a little bit larger brand name. And I went to the broker, and I said, hey, man, how do I sell more real estate? How do I get really good at this? And he actually handed me a phone book and said, hey, man, I'm going to go play golf. And so it pissed me off. And so I literally went looking for, I was like, okay, what company is going to take my business to the next level? And I found Keller Williams in that magic red book that they had put together, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And coming from my background, I was all about reading and learning and trying to implement, models and systems. And all of a sudden I had this book that was a roadmap. And I was like, holy cow, Millionaire Real Estate Agent, simply do this. So that next year, I basically, from the money I'd saved, I went full time. I read the red book, and I started doing that. And I sold 21 homes, and then at the end of the second year, I basically then hired my first assistant to get rid of the paperwork and started to actually, okay, how am I going to do this as a business? Now, let me explain. I totally screwed up like my first 5 hires because I went through no process. I didn't pay any attention to the system. I didn't pay any attention to recruiting. I just grabbed a warm body and just shoved them in. Okay. Mm-hmm. I just didn't know any better, and I actually didn't pay attention that, hey, whoa, Keller Williams had another model and tool called Recruit Select for me to go find and recruit talent. Even regardless of me just grabbing the warm body, my business immediately started to take off again, and I went and closed 42 transactions in 72. Then I got up to 90, and then the market crashed in 2008. And I was very heavy into new construction. Like over half of my business was new construction, land development. And here in the Seattle metro, I'm not kidding, there was like an audible click. And it was all of the local banks shutting down lending, which was every piece of new construction. And so all of a sudden it went from, hey, we're on pace to go to close over 100 deals to decimation, nothing selling.
Yep. Yeah.
And so then our business, we had to transition, and these builders are going under, and they're losing just tens of thousands. Like 148,000 was what one of them lost on one project because
that's
the market's
nothing.
starting to drop.
148,000.
148,000 on 12 homes. I walked into his office and I said, hey, here's the deal. Based on my numbers, thank you, biochemistry, based on my numbers and calculations, if you don't get all these houses built and sold in the next 6 months, we're going to lose 250. And he about came unglued. And I said, here's the deal. I don't care how you do it. I don't care who you got to borrow the money from. You have to go get all these homes built now. And so all of a sudden we had 1 home under construction. We had 12.
Yeah.
And he just begged and borrowed because he could see the writing on the wall. Once we explained the numbers and went through it, and those builders basically turned into workouts. So this is before short sales. So these were full-scale workouts where we would compartmentalize their debt. And they would put it on a duplex or sell a boat or take a personal note in order to get them. So we started doing short sales before they were short sales. That then turned into a bunch of short sales in 2009. No one would do them. In our business, basically, we went right back over 100 transactions. And then
hold on. Okay, Anton, hold on. We're moving a little bit too quick. So, and by the way, we should talk about. I mean, I'll tell you, in 2009, I bought a portfolio that a builder. When you say 150 grand or 250 grand, a builder went belly up for $73 million. I bought that portfolio. Yeah. Well, no, hold on. Me and three friends bought that for $3.2 million. So, wow. So losing 150 or two, that's nothing. Anyhow, yeah. Okay, let's go back to so it took you a year. It took you 2 years. At the end of your second year is when you finally pulled the trigger to hire an assistant. What was that about, man? Why did it take you so long to just go? Especially after you read the book, right? It's all about leverage. Yeah. Why did you? What was it? Was it that you were scared about spending the money, or you didn't know?
Young, dumb, and too overconfident. And,
okay.
And that's the honest truth. And what I mean about that was I've always been someone who can make a lot of things happen. And I literally said, oh, I don't need to pay someone to help me. I can just do it on my own and still make awesome money.
We got it.
Just young, dumb, and overconfident.
Yeah. So tell me, because I think there's a lot of people in this situation, right? And maybe they're not doing 20 deals. Maybe they're doing 3 or 5 or 8, and they just feel like they can't, spend the extra money. Whether that's $2,000 a month or what There's always ways to skin the cat. Hire somebody part time, but tell me some of the things that started to fall apart. To finally have it click and for you to say yes, I need to dedicate $2,000 or whatever.
I had 7 transactions pending, and all of a sudden 3 of my sellers come unglued because I haven't talked to them in weeks, and I don't know what's going on with their files, and I couldn't tell you where the buyer was.
Got it.
So literally, I hit a physical wall. Because even though I did get trained in the sciences and I am analytical, from most personality assessments, I have no organizational ability.
How funny.
So literally what happened was I looked around and said, whoa, wait a second. If I'm doing paperwork, I'm not making money.
Right.
If I'm calling lenders, I'm not lead generating.
Right. And this goes down. Sorry, Anton. This is all about you, but this goes back to people focusing on their dollar productive activities. If you were doing paperwork,
exactly.
You should put everybody in the audience, and I think you'd agree, Anton. Everybody in the audience should say, listen, my time is worth $100 an hour, or $200, or $50, or whatever.
Minimum, yeah.
And that's it. I'm not going to do work that is less than $100 an hour or $50 an hour work.
Exactly. And when you find that talented person who basically takes it right out of your hand, just rips it out of your hands, and does the job 3 times better than you would have ever dreamed of being able to do it,
right, you're
on the right path.
Right. So hopefully we've convinced some people out there to say, yeah, you know what, I'm going to go, and today, I'm going to go on my hunt for an assistant. I want to talk about 2 things. One is where you screwed up your first hire. So I want to talk about what mistakes you made. Let's talk about that. So where did you find your first 3 or 4 people, and what?
You guys are just gonna giggle at me.
Okay.
I literally, all that I did was I put out 1 job ad, and then I just told like 15 people I was looking for someone. And one of the people in our network said, hey, and everyone kind of knows I'm a little wild, a little crazy, and, just all in. And they basically said, hey, this woman will take care of you. Not she's good at paperwork, not she's trained in real estate, not, this person will help your business to grow. She'll take care of you. And quite honestly, even though she wasn't the exact right person, she was the right person for the time because she was very nurturing and then just took stuff off of my plate, even though she knows a single thing about real estate.
And was she how old are you, Anton?
Right now I am 36. Just
36.
turned 36.
Okay. Was that girl? Was she younger than you? Older than you?
Oh, she was in her mid 40s.
Okay.
And so at this time, you got to realize I'm probably 26, 27.
Right. And so, and here's what I'm getting at. It was, you didn't necessarily have management skills at the time.
None.
Did you, was the age difference a little bit daunting for you? Was that a concern? Like, oh man, I'm 26, this girl's 40.
No, okay. Literally, because I was so fed up with the paperwork. It was like the person walks through the door and basically, and my friend was right. I needed someone who was nurturing. I could have done better on the technical skill, but she just said, oh, I care. I'm here to help. What do you need? And I just literally handed her stacks of paperwork, and I said, figure this out and get it away from me so I can go get us more business.
Okay. Okay. So why was that? Why would you call that one a screw up?
No, I wouldn't call it a screw up.
Okay.
But in the grand scheme of things, I actually could have done just a little bit better if I would have gone through a hiring process, gone through a training process, and we could have done more. I just didn't know any different, and I was just swinging for the fences.
Got it. Yeah, and you could have done a lot worse. You could have made a horrific,
absolutely
disaster. And I think the other thing too, and I'd love for you to expand on this a little bit, Anton, is when someone makes a hire like that, right? I have a need. This person can do it. What they're not thinking about is their long-term corporate culture. And
amen.
Yeah, and you can stitch a bunch of stuff together, but at some point, if you don't think about your overarching culture, you're going to have a crash down the road. So, what's your thoughts on culture?
And here's let me add one thing. I shouldn't have said the words bad hire. I should have said I got a good hire and not a great one.
Got it.
That's probably a better way of putting it. And I think the person doing 3, 4, 5, 10 deals, 20, whatever the number is, if they can find that great one who has the potential to be their executive assistant in the future, and they're thinking about how do I go from my 10 deals to 1,000, and they're looking down that roadmap and planning that way and looking at what they want their culture to look like, their structure, and their overall business, they could do 10 times better than what I've done.
Okay.
That's what I mean there. In other words, instead of just getting good, they could get great, and that great could take them to new heights.
Yep. So, and there's always an urge just to fill the seat. And by the way, man, we have to talk about Twitter a little bit later because I have 6,300 followers. You have almost 15,000, and we're gonna talk about how you did that. But
playing the game, man. I'm like number 24 in the county for that. Everything's a game. It's all about, lead gen. It's all about consistency. It's all about just getting it out there and making it happen. And I chose to play that game in the beginning. Got it.
Well, you've been on there since '08, so that's okay. All right, but let's do that. So I guess we can jump into that a little bit, right? You've mentioned a few times about your personality, right? You're a crazy guy. You mix it up, you make it happen. What if someone wants to kind of follow your best traits? What do they do? Like give us some tips on I want to go out and make it happen right now. What step one?
Step 1, decide what you want. Step 2, write a plan. Step 3, take some action. Let me explain.
Okay.
Most of us fail at deciding where we want to go and what we want to do. And then even if we decide to do that, then we fail at taking the action. Nike said it phenomenal. Just do it. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be messy. Life is the process of redoing and retrying and repeating and going at it again. And the more that we do that, and like John Maxwell, he said it really well, fail forward and just grow from our experiences and do more, the more we'll get as a result. Most of the time what I see when I'm looking at people and I'm chatting with them about their business or their investments or things like that, it's a failure to launch and a failure to take the action step. So my advice is, number 1, decide what you want. And then number two, just take a step towards it. Whether it's the right one or the wrong one, take a step.
Yeah.
And then evaluate what you've done, and then take another one.
Right, and really, what you're saying, I'm in full alignment with that. It's imperfect action. Just take the action. It does not have to be perfect. Imperfect action. Step sideways, step left, but yeah, just move. So again, what is it like? If someone is this is resonating with someone, they're like, oh yeah, I know I need to take action. I know that's a problem for me. Is there some kind of thing that you can say, or some advice to other than just do it? Right? We all hear just do it, but again,
yes, you have to look at it from a scalability perspective.
Okay.
For conversation's sake, the guy who's doing 10 deals a day, the gal who's doing 10 deals a day, and they want to get to 1,000, or they want to get to 100, whatever the number is. The question is what is the action step that they could take that would make that happen? Because when they look at the elephant, let's say the elephant is the 1,000 deals, they go, man, that's overwhelming. Okay, that's true. But what's a piece of the elephant that I can chop off, that I can do today, that's going to put me on that path to doing that? And then I'm just going to do that one little thing. And then once I got that moving and that mastered, I'm going to do one little more. It's the baby steps towards it. Consistency over time breeds exponential results.
Yep. I mean, this is Darren Hardy's compound effect.
Oh, amen. Yes, exactly that.
So
also The Slight Edge, both of those books, phenomenal.
So, and we're going to ask for a book recommendation later, but so everybody's like they got from Anton, they're like, okay, I know I need to hire my assistants. That's a step I can take. Where do you see? Because you've been around, a ton of people. Where do you see in general low hanging fruit for someone who maybe they're doing 10 deals a year, and maybe they don't have a big marketing budget? Is there generally across the nation low hanging fruit that you see?
Always.
Okay, maybe give us some of the stuff that you see.
Yeah, no. So the lowest hanging fruit, you and I are on both of them. We are both on one right now. We're talking on it.
Yep.
They're phones. Okay. The easiest thing for someone to do and the least expensive, it only costs you time, is to pick up the phone.
Yep.
Dial someone. And so the next question they say is, well, who do I dial?
Right.
Next answer, I don't care. Call someone. Ask them for business. Do it again. Now let me be a little bit more specific. So people need to make a decision. The lowest hanging fruit is your phone. And they need to make a decision on the type of business that they want to have and who they're comfortable calling. Are they comfortable calling their sphere of influence? Are they comfortable calling for sale by owners? Are they comfortable calling expireds? Are they comfortable calling those builders or those investors? Are they comfortable doing open houses? They have to start generating business. And your phone, open houses, things like that are some of the easiest ways for you to do this. Number 3 would be social media.
Yeah, right. And again, and I think here's and let me back up for a second, man. Early on, when you asked that guy, your first guy, for help, he gave you the phone book and then said, hey, I'm going to go play golf. So I knew that calling was going to be a part of what you're going to talk about today. But so what you said something I think very instructive there. Figure out what kind of business you want. So the kinds of calls that you make and the kind of scripts that you use will determine if you get people or deals on the buyer side or on the listing side.
Yes.
So somebody, you don't care who they're going to call. Obviously, people are going to start with their sphere because they feel well. And hold on, will people start with their sphere? I mean, is there?
So I didn't. It's still personally, and I mean, I admit my faults. That's still a weak spot in our business. My business is mostly smash the phones, the internet, and then investors.
Okay.
And so Sphere, so right now we have, we have 2 of our admin in coaching for Sphere of Influence, because with all of the transactions we've done, basic simple calculation indicates that there's 100 extra deals sitting in our Sphere right now.
Right. So, and when you say sphere, like expand that, because you past clients are your sphere. That's one kind of sphere. But then there's your friends, right? That's a different kind of sphere. So, are you
friends, family, past clients, affiliated businesses, other business owners, builders, investors, developers, and people with big bags of money.
Right. So why are you not? What's the holdup for you? Like, what is holding you back from attacking your sphere?
You know, it's really funny. We've done so well with other parts of it. We just never picked it up because at times my team always looked to me to build it, and I just never picked up that shovel. And then finally, and this is no joke, in November of last year, I said, you know what? We haven't done this. You, and you're doing this. Here's your task list. Here's the deadlines. Here's the coaching you're taking. Write out the action plan. Send these letters. Make these phone calls. And so one of the first steps that we did was we picked up our sphere and dropped them into Mojo. Okay? And some people, I say that, I know some people just cringed. They said, whoa, wait a second. You're going to auto-dial your sphere? Heck yeah, we did it. And guess what? We got a whole bunch of deals out of it. And we simply called through the sphere with the most simple script in the whole wide world on an auto-dialer and said, hey, haven't talked to you in a while. Just wanted to check in, see if you needed anything in relation to real estate. How's the fam? How's the job? What's going on? Whole team did that. We did it in like 2 hours, and we generated like 5 transactions by literally simply calling them and saying hi.
Unbelievable.
And so I was like, okay, we just proved the model. Someone make this better. P.S. We also need personal touches, handwritten notes, and some postcards to go out. We'll have a beautiful system.
And I think if you treated your sphere like you treat a farm, right? So what, the best things to do, the 3 things you should do with a farm, right? So you knock it, you mail it, you call into it. And if you did the same thing to your sphere, I gotta imagine. I mean that's a whole. I mean, again, that's probably another 100 deals for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's depressing. It's one of those sore spots. I think one of the things that people should do, though, and this is a tip or a trick that most people are not doing today. It's called write a handwritten note.
Yeah.
My handwriting looks like hieroglyphics. It is ugly.
That's funny.
And yet, every time I send a handwritten note, if I send 10, I will actually get 1 personal thank you in return.
Wow. That's amazing.
And so what we did, and here's how we got the team to buy in. I said, raise your hand if you got 1 handwritten note last year. Every team member but 1 got 1. Raise your hand if you got 2. Half the hands went down. Raise your hand if you got 3. Only 1 team member got 3 handwritten thank you notes last year. I said, so let's think about this. We're bombarded by the internet. We're bombarded by our cell phones. And yet only 1 out of all of us got 3 notes last year. Maybe that's a powerful communication tool. And everyone's like, okay, fine, we buy in, let's do it.
Yeah. And I think the other instructive thing that for people in the audience listening to this, I mean, look, and all this stuff I can be better at. You can be, we can, there's room for improvement for everybody out there. But, some people, I can actually spell really good because I read a lot, but some people can't spell. And I don't think, and they're like, well, geez, it's going to take me so long to look up online, the dictionary. I think that's okay. I think that, that speaks to your authenticity. If you misspell some words, as long as it's like,
totally.
I mean, you can't, I literally.
I'll write the word wrong, or like my handwriting get really ugly. I just cross it out and keep writing.
Yeah. Although,
and I write the same handwritten thank you note every time.
Yeah. How long is it?
Easy.
How many words is it, do you think?
Bill, thank you for taking time out of your busy day to talk with me about X. And X is actually whatever we talked about. Selling your house, buying a house, whatever it is. I look forward to serving you with your real estate needs. And then the next line is something personal in relation to them. So something about their forward family, occupation, recreation dreams. Cool to hear you just bought a new puppy or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then the last line is, please feel free to contact me anytime. Take care, Anton.
And what I mean, do you think in that email, or I'm sorry, in the email, in the letter, is it appropriate to say to ask for a referral? I don't know. I mean, what's your thought?
We actually never do.
Okay.
Yeah, and we will send out branded cards and just actual plain white ones that have the words "thank you" on the front. And we even have ones that just have like pictures of the Pacific Northwest. And so we let the agent kind of make that judgment call on whether or not they want to send a picture, a thank you, or a branded.
I'll tell you this. Here's my take on this. Number one, I would say don't send out a card. I would say take a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper, fold it up in a non-branded envelope. I think non-branding, coming in non-branded was much more powerful than a branded message, especially if it's just, hey, thanks for taking the time out. I think it would be interesting to see you guys do a test of, this month send out 100 letters, as you normally do, and then next month send out 100 letters and ask for a referral. Say, hey, I'd love to help, anybody that, do you know anybody at church, at work, or whatever? So let me ask you this, because this is what people are wondering right now. They're saying, well, geez, Anton, yeah, I think that's a great idea. I'm convinced I want to write letters, but there's some of these people I haven't talked with in a long time. What is the time frame for?
Well, we do this so let me make this perfectly clear. Remember, we're actually not that good at Sphere. This is for every lead that we come in contact with. This is part of our conversion for leads, or if you had a buyer appointment, or if you had a seller appointment.
Right.
Okay, so most of the time, these are a touch.
Right, but let's say let's say people are going to go through their database and they look at Anton. I met you like right now, so I'm recording with you right now. It'd be great, and I probably will not do it, but it'd be good if once we hung up, right, I sent you a letter and say, hey Anton, thanks for taking the time out. Here's a Super Agents Live mug or T-shirt or whatever. But what about, Dave Jenks, for example? I interviewed with Dave a year and a half ago. Would it be too late for me to write that letter now?
No. No. And here's what's very weird. Because people get so few of them, they immediately identify with you. So let me give you an example.
Okay.
We were calling expireds, and we went on the appointment, and we were literally like one of 8 people that got the appointment. And then they decided not to list. My team member wrote the handwritten thank you note. Thank you for having me over to your house. Look forward to helping you in the future. P.S. I loved, your story about something. And I forget what the story was about. Take care, John. 7 months later, they called us and they said, hey, we want to list our house with you. And we're like, oh, well, we thought you guys were keeping it. Well, we were keeping it because, we just had to figure out something in life. But you're the only one who took time to thank us.
Wow.
And we've just got story after story because that personal note, I don't think it matters. Even 5 years went by. It's personal, and people get so few of them that they're so impactful, it's insane.
Yeah, no. So what about this? Let's move on to something else. I mean, I think this is very, very good for people to hear. But what about again, for that, your guy wrote that letter. John wrote that letter after, he did the appointment. What about writing a letter and dropping in the mail 3 or 4 days before you're gonna meet them and say, hey, listen, I'm really looking for. You like that idea?
Yes.
Okay.
I love it. Anything that's going to be that high personal touch, none of your competition is going to do. So you think of it, Seth Godin in the book, the Purple Cow. How do you be different?
Yeah.
That's it. Okay. And if that's your differentiator and it's easy for you to do, then do it all the time. See, what most of us fail at in relation to real estate is just consistency and habits. Okay, and I'm a squirrel chaser. We're talking like ADD, take action, jump out of the airplane. Oh my God, where'd my chute go? Hey, I'll hang on to your chute. Cool, I found something. Let's pull it. Crash. Woohoo, we're going. And so the only thing that provides our business consistency is consistency, habits, models, and system. Okay, so we've got to do that. And if you're comfortable writing a note, why don't you just write more of them?
Right. Okay. No, that's great. That is great. So be different, right? And I'll tell you something. Seth Godin. If you have a podcast, for example, Seth Godin is a get. The guy's hard to get. He's impossible. And I know a few people that have got him on, and they've done weird crap like get a big those big balls that when you graduate from high school and the beach ball. One of my friends took a beach ball. Somebody I know took a beach ball, wrote a letter on the beach ball, and slapped a sticker, and he mailed it. He mailed the beach ball, blown up. And guess what? The guy booked him. So in terms of being different, is it too wacky? I mean, like, could you do really wacky stuff?
Yeah. Some of our best stuff that we do in social media is the stuff that's outside of the norm.
Okay.
Marshawn Lynch did those interviews, and all he said was, yeah. Okay. So we took that interview. I dubbed my voice over it, and I said, hey, Marshawn, I heard you're interviewing us to sell your house. Yeah. I heard you were considering it. You interviewed some of the competition, but you said you weren't going to go with them. Yeah.
How funny.
What about someone from Windermere? No juice. And so that stupid little video differentiator on 2 different platforms has been seen over 1,500 times and already got us 1 listing.
Wow. So
okay, it took us literally 3 minutes to record, and the marketing girl probably 45 minutes to edit and upload to YouTube.
Got it. Okay. And look, and that doesn't, other than time. Again, this goes back to action, and it doesn't take a lot of marketing dollars. It just takes time. Who's the creative genius out there? Is it you?
No, I am. There's no creative bones in my body. I copy, borrow, beg, and steal everything.
Right. That's real estate. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. You're a guy that I think your 3rd year, right before the crash, you're doing about 100. You're doing 90 deals, and you broke the 100 mark, right? If you can break the 100, you have the systems in place. You should be able to do 400. What kind of marketing are you doing? Why are you you went from 100, you got up to 220. Now you're sliding back. What's going on out there?
Multiple things. So I have a couple different babies, and so let me just explain what that means. I own a Keller Williams, and I'm also the operating principal. Okay. And then secondly, I'm also doing flips, investment, development projects, and things like that also.
Okay.
So at times, and I'll just be very blunt and honest, I'll let my eye off the ball. So my coach is telling me, Anton, you're addicted to REO and short sale. It's too much of your business. You already had this happen to you once. Start shifting. Yeah. Start shifting. Yeah. Hey, remember I told you to shift. The moral of the story is I just didn't move fast enough back into traditional, because at times when you look over and one of your streams of income is making really good money and another one's making really good money, you're just like, well, I'm making good money.
Right.
When good is always the enemy of great. And so, hey, got back into it. And for probably the first time in the last 3 years, I would say I have the best team culture and foundation again, because we let it slip.
Okay. And who's your coach, man? Who's your coach? Do you have a MAPS coach?
My coach, I have a MAPS coach. His name is Mike Fleming. Okay. And Mike coaches a bunch of Godzillas like me, and I chat with him once a week. And when I went into coaching with him, I was doing 118 transactions, and that next year I went to over 200.
What was the difference? What was the magic there?
It's very interesting. I wouldn't say that there was magic. There was someone asking me questions that I wasn't asking myself.
Give me an example of
Give me an example. He said, what are you doing, very first coaching session, what are you doing to maintain high energy, and when was the last time you went on a date with your wife? Oh, I think I just got stabbed. And he said, P.S., when was the last time you went on a date with your wife? and you asked for the date, you got the babysitter, and you told her where you were going and that you were going to pick her up flowers.
Oh, man.
And I said, whoa. He said, great, you're out of balance. You're not being fully productive. First assignment, go get it done. And so with coaching, really what actually I first did was I got I called my 5 areas. I got my 5 areas back in alignment. My mental life, my physical health, spiritual life, and then my family and relationships. And that's one of the things that really propelled me forward was I got very purposeful, consistent, and habitual about what I was going to do in those areas. And all of a sudden, everything in my whole world took off.
And that's really, really interesting. I mean, Tony Robbins will say, hey, go out and master your body. That's the first thing to master your body before you do it. I mean, that's very a Robbins-esque a notion. In terms of those 5 areas, well, number one, if people don't know those, give us an outline of what those 5 areas are.
Well, so number one is, and there is no number one, actually. There's just 5 areas because I think they're all equally important. So think of it more of like a sphere or a circle. They're all just interconnected. One would be your mental health. So what we do for mental health is at 8 a.m. in the morning, our team meets. We write our affirmation on the board. We do our programming. We're always doing our reading. We're going to classes. We talk about what our affirmations mean. And Jennifer on our team right now is in charge of gratitude. Mm. So if you say something and she hears it or another team member hears it, they're supposed to call you out. And then also every day she asks you, what'd you win at yesterday? Okay. Most of the time we're not thinking about what we're winning at.
Yeah.
So we believe in the mental programming. Number 2 would be your physical health. So I eat probably about 80% Paleolithic, basically meat, veggies, nuts. And the reason I say 80% is because, I'll still go eat pizza if I want it, and I still am going to, go drink a drink if I want it, or have a cookie. I'm not that strict. I also CrossFit, and I do that 5 to 6 days a week. And what I've found is I know I'm going to the 5 o'clock class. So I get more work done because I have that deadline sitting in front of me.
Yep.
It's the more that I am pinched and I say I have to go there, the more work I get done, the more productive I am. The next one would be your familial or your relationship.
Hold on, I just want to say something really quickly. That is very instructive. This is the Pareto principle.
Yes, sir.
Whatever amount of time you allot for a task, it always fills that time. So for you, and I think again, I just want to bring this out for everybody. For you, if you allot less time for the same task, you're gonna get it done, and then you can go do CrossFit at 5. So okay, I'm sorry. So what's the next one?
No, but that's I didn't even realize that until Mr. Fleming challenged me with coaching, and so all of a sudden I got into CrossFit at that time too. And by having that deadline that I know I'm going to the 5 o'clock class, my productivity increased. And I was like, holy cow, I should have just pinched everything with a morning routine and a night routine to begin with, and I'd get more done.
Yeah.
So the family and the relationship part is this. I believe in presence. And presence is being committed to where you are in the moment with who that is. Put your cell phone in your pocket. Turn it off. If you're talking to your kids, don't even put your cell phone on the table. Ask questions. If you and I are going out to dinner, ask questions. Be in the moment. Be there. Experience the life. If you experience the life, you get more joy out of it.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I mean, I think a lot of the stuff, you and I, in terms of the way we think, are very much in alignment. And the only thing I would say in terms of, I agree with you, ask questions, be engaged. I personally have a little bit of a problem with being present. I'm always in the future. I'm never in the past, but I'm always.
Oh, me too. Is your strength finder, is it futuristic? That's one of mine.
Yep. Well, but here's what I want to say for everybody is, certainly ask questions, but you have to be careful about not interrogating people, right? I have a friend that just interrogates me, man. I'm like, Dude, cut it out. Okay, look. All right. So I keep interrupting. I'm sorry. Okay, rip through a couple more,
awesome.
and then we have to start wrapping up, man. It's been fun, but we gotta.
Yeah. And so, lastly, it's just your spiritual life. What are you doing to be in alignment with your core values and your belief system? And then, lastly is also your wealth. In other words, what is your plan to save and invest for your future? Because great fortunes and or just plain getting free of the machine happens over time. And it happens gradually, then suddenly.
Right, gradually, and then suddenly. Yeah, that's, it took me to make my first million, I was 31. It took me 31 years of my life. To make my second million, it took me 2 years. To make my third million, it took me like 18 months. So.
Yes, exactly. Out of all those, right, family, spiritual, whatever, and look, I'm terrible about taking my wife out on a date, and I don't work out as consistently as I should. Was there one of those areas that got you, again, this goes back to 80-20, right? You're going to get 80% of your results out of 20% of your effort. What was the 80-20 for you with those five areas? The working out and eating right.
Okay.
Because, like in the book, The Power of the Habit, they talk about that. That's one of those keystone habits. It's one of them just, freaking rocks. And so that one begets so many other good habits.
Got it. Yeah, no, I agree. Man, look, we're only at 45 minutes, but I am at 11, which means I have my next call. So we're going to wrap up shortly. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions that I always ask everybody. The first one is this, Anton. Look, you've had you've had great training. You're a guy that's life is on fire. It's going well for you. Who's been a mentor to you?
Yeah, I have a whole bunch of them. My business partner in the market center I currently own was actually my mentor in the early 2000s. I followed him around like a puppy dog. And I just said, how do you invest in real estate? What are we doing on this land development deal? Why is this builder doing this? Okay. So you just find people that know more. I also have a bunch of other mentors who are very large scale investors who have helped. Both my parents, great mentors, who just gave me weird little colloquialisms. My dad was a farm boy. He would say things like, I found you under a rock, and Stetner's never quit, and always try. And just, he would always say these things to me, and like, work hard, don't mess up my good name. And literally, he just programmed me.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I grew up believing that. And I think you kind of need to find who's better than you in all of those 5 areas that could take you to the next level. Yep. And then if they can't take you any further, go get a new one.
Right. Yep. Absolutely, man. You're the this quote, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? So yep. Level up. All right, buddy. So now we're at the book recommendation. So you're a KW guy. You cannot Gary's books are off the table. And look, you're a reader. So here's the setup. Yep. I'm an aspiring agent. I have $25. What book should I go buy today?
Fail Forward, John Maxwell.
Got it. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah, because what people need to do when they're at that base level is they need to take action, and they need to just learn from the action. Okay?
Yep.
And he gives you permission in that book to take action and not do it perfectly.
Yep, imperfect action. All right, so listen, everybody, you can find Anton, and Anton, I'm going to let you tell people where they can find you. Look, here's the deal. I encourage everybody that listens to this episode, if they've gotten anything out of it, say thank you. Thank you for, thank yourself, my guest, for taking the time out and sharing. So, everybody, you can find Anton on the Twitter at Anton Stetner. You can also find him at antonstetner.com. And you can find all the show notes, all this stuff on our website at Super Agents Live. Is there any other place where people can find you, Anton? And say thanks, and or maybe they want to join your team.
Yeah. So antonstetner.com will get you to where you could join our team or something like that. Twitter's a real easy way to reach me. And then we're always trying to share these thoughts and ideas on YouTube. So you can go to Anton Stetner on YouTube, and we're always putting up this little piece that's there too. So any way you want to join the discussion, we'll get back to you.
That is awesome. And guys, remember, look, Anton is in Everett, Washington, so I'll say it for him because he's probably not going to say it. If you have any referrals, let's pop them over to Anton. I'm sure Anton will take care of them. So look, Anton.
Always appreciated.
Hey, buddy, I'll be the first guy to kick off the thank you train, so thanks, man. I appreciate you taking the time out and sharing your knowledge with myself and my audience.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
All right, buddy. Let's keep in touch.
Anyway.
Let's go!